Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming in again to another interview and episode with A Notch Higher Living, where spaces are created and cultivated so that healthy relationships can be learned, developed, so that they can ultimately thrive. I am here with another special, beautiful guest. Her name is Monica Marie Jones. Hey, Monica.
Hey, Jasmine, I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited that you are here. Yes. So Monica is an executive and personal coach, and I met her I met her in person at the first time in July, but I had been stalking her on Instagram because I had seen her her events. So I want to kick off why we have Monica on. As you know, I bring people on who have something to do with one of the areas of healthy by design. So either emotional, it could be one or multiple, but emotional, financial, physical, relational, spiritual, or vocational, or career. Monica goes over a lot of those areas in her personal work, but let me tell you about her mission and vision statement, and you will pick up why she's here today. So her mission statement is to inspire and support women through coaching and facilitation to adore themselves and design and live a life they love. Isn't that beautiful? And then her vision statement is a world where women are healed because they put themselves first and thus have healed their families, communities, and the world by leading with love. So I actually love both of those. There's so much about Monica that I appreciate. And the first time I met Monica was at the Cochrane House in the beautiful city of Detroit at her Journ and Burn workshop. So we're going to kick off the interview from there because that's, again, where I officially met you. And that's where you officially were invited to come. So thank you for coming again. Thank you for being here. And I wanted you to just share, like, you offer coaching on a monthly basis. How did that entire scenario come about? Can you share with us?
Absolutely. So, as a part of my approach, there's a few different buckets: one-on-one coaching, group
Mhm.
coaching, and then retreats. And initially, I would kind of just, I've always had my one-on-one clients, but I would lead virtual or in-person group coaching cohorts.
Okay.
And, with the pandemic and all of the heavy things people were dealing with, I was starting to feel a little overwhelmed by that. So I thought this year I might take a break. But
Okay.
the wonderful thing happened when I went to visit the Cochrane House Bed and Breakfast for my own personal self-care.
Okay.
Where I was sitting down talking with the owners, and I was just so inspired by the work they were doing with this beautiful establishment. And I said, how can I support? How can I serve you? And
Hmm.
they're like, we want to give back to the community. I'm like, hey, why don't I lead some group coaching here around, like you said, emotions, finance,
Mhm.
relationships, all the things that people are, trying to figure out. And
Yes.
from our first event, it was just magical. Initially,
Wow.
we said just 3 months, but those went so well that the following year, we're like, we're doing the whole. So that's how that in particular got started.
Wow. I am so glad you had that conversation and got started because my experience there, it was phenomenal. Just going in, like you said, the beautiful Cochrane House in Detroit. I am actually going to put their information because if you're in the Metro City area or if you're in Detroit, if you're visiting the Metro Detroit area, you have to stay there. It's a beautiful bed and breakfast and owned by two sisters, as you said. Beautiful, beautiful. So, one thing that even in the place that we were in, you allow women to have the space to speak, to connect with themselves. So you really work with people to help them get unstuck to live their successful life the best way that they know how. Why do you think that is so important or why is that so important for you to have that happen for others?
A lot of it is a part of my own journey. We do
Mm,
that the world or our parents say we need to do to be successful. Go to school, go to college, get a job. But then we still don't have a lot of the skills to deal with the emotional challenges, or no one may really have taught us financial literacy. So I went through this journey of doing
mhm.
all the things I was supposed to do,
Yeah.
still being stuck. Like, I don't own anything. I got all this debt. Like, what is
Yes.
going on?
What's wrong? Yeah.
So I have always had a knack for teaching and creating activities and taking my friends through it and taking myself through it. So
Nice.
once I created this approach and tested it on myself and it worked, I was like, oh, I cannot keep this to myself.
Yes.
I need to help other women like me, other leaders, other, people in the community that have all this potential and have done everything they thought was right, but are still in some way feeling stuck.
I love it. I love it. And don't mind me, I like to take notes. So, yes. Wow. And I love how you said it. You said it started with your personal experience. And then that's what moved it into like, hey, it's almost, you know what? I'm going to call you the Harriet Tubman. So you said, hey, I'm going to get free. I'm going to get free or
Yeah.
die. So as you've gotten free, you said, or die trying, you said, hey, I want to make sure that I offer this to other people. So can you share an experience with, you don't have to go really deep, but something where you were able to experience getting unstuck or becoming unstuck, and how you use that to coach your clients or coach people that you work with?
Absolutely. So there's this distinct moment. Um,
Okay.
I have always lived in houses or neighborhoods where people are like, Monica, are you going to be safe over there? And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, sure, why not? But I remember, in one of those houses sitting on the couch and being like, man, like, what is going on with my life? Like, I went to school, I got multiple degrees, and still I'm struggling financially. And so I sat down and I read The Richest Man in Babylon, which is a
okay.
quick read. It's a fable, but it has these components. I think they're called the 7 cures for a lean purse. And I said,
Okay.
you know what? I've heard all these great cliches and these great tips. What if I actually followed them for real, for real?
Come on now.
Okay, so I literally sat down and started that day with one of them that talks about manage thy expenditures or something. And I wrote
Yes.
a list on a notebook piece of paper of all the things I was spending money on. And then next to each, I put need or necessity or
Mm-hmm.
want or, not necessary. And
Okay.
I realized, wow, like a lot of the ways I'm spending money and managing money, this is what's getting in the way. And I literally started working this plan with those simple approaches to get myself into financial integrity and to increase my financial literacy. And another component of it that I had read from other books was, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I believe that's a Jim Rohn quote. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's another thing. I'm always like the one leading my friend groups or the one that has the most, credentials or whatever. And not to say anyone's good or bad, but
Sure.
might I align with people and be more intentional about the people I'm spending time with to get to the place I want to be. So
Yeah.
when I made those 2 shifts, really honing in on my, financial integrity, because how you do anything is how you do everything, right? So that
That's
stood out
true.
in so many areas. And then the circle of influence in my life. When I shifted those, I felt the freedom. Everything rose, like my income rose, my environments changed, my opportunities changed, my mindset changed. And that was how I was able to get myself unstuck.
That's powerful. So, financial integrity, the two shifts were financial integrity and then your circle of influence. And you've seen such a dramatic change in your life.
Absolutely. And so since I tested it and it worked, I have turned each of those components into workshops and group coaching experiences like what we do at the Cochrane House, and even kind of the process based on my clients' needs that I take them through individually based on where they are feeling stuck. It's like I have a little something for everything.
That's amazing. And it's so powerful because it keeps going back to you started individually with yourself and you tested it, you practiced it, you developed it so that you can thrive in it, and then that's when you start sharing with other people in the masses. So
Absolutely.
one thing that you told us about the Cochrane House is that you shared with us how it came about. What is your vision for the women who come to the Cochrane House? And also, do you have men only workshops? So, what is your vision for it to keep moving forward? Because as you shared how it came about, it seems like to me is just getting started, so to speak. Like there's so much more that may be inside of you. So, can you share that with us?
Absolutely. So, similar to what you shared with my mission and vision statement,
Okay.
I feel like as I lead and facilitate these experiences, everyone who comes is going to go out and create some sort of healing, change, what in themselves that is then going to impact their families, their friends, their communities. Because the cool thing about people who joined my coaching programs early on is that led to other clients because they would see this change in their family member and be like, "What have you been doing?" Like,
Got it.
like go see
Yes.
Martha,
Yes.
so you can see the trickle out or trickle down or effect is happening. So I feel like by pouring into these usually 25 or so women,
I love
they're
that
going to go
number.
out, they're going to do their work, and then they're going to go out and spread the love, the joy, the peace, the healing. Now it's interesting because those events are open to the public. We never said it's just women, but it always ends up
Ah,
being just women who buy the tickets and who come.
got it.
Another part of my vision is women and leaders, because I've noticed
Okay.
a lot of times leaders are taking care of, supporting, guiding everyone, but they don't have their person who they can vent to or who they can get some support or development from. So, with that, I just recently wrapped a series I did with some community organizing groups, and most of them were men. Let's say if there were 20 participants, only two were women.
Okay.
So again, what they resonated most with were the types of activities we do at the Cochrane House, where it's like self-awareness and exploration and,
Okay.
drawing and writing and thinking about your life. So it's while it's not my primary focus, you can see it's so needed for men. So as I mentor people and coach, people, I'm also kind of looking for that man to be the coach that can provide those spaces for men. Now, not to say they don't exist, there are some out there, but I feel like they need even more, just from what I see with, the men in my family and like the young men I've tr- taught or trained in my earlier career as a teacher and social worker.
I love that. And I may have a couple of people that I want to refer to you because as you were speaking, I'm like, wait, I know someone and they're in the coaching space. So I may have to connect you with them so that our men can get this beautiful coaching as well. Because it's like you said, it's really integral for us to grow as people. And we're all human beings who, if we stay stagnant, we're dying. I
Yeah.
mean, and we can still walk around like dead or zombies. And I think that's one thing that I am being more brave to acknowledge. We can live the same type of life and lifestyle, even as you said, you had to look and say, hey, what's going on with this area and this area of my life? And
Mhm.
then ask the question for yourself and not just ask the question, you answered it and then you took action. So I think that's powerful. And one thing I know, especially in the space of being in the Black and Brown community, there's so much historical and cultural trauma that people don't want to acknowledge. I acknowledge it now because it's like if you are building a house and if you do not address the foundation and you just say, hey, we don't want to worry about that because you know what, we'll just build a great edifice. Go for it. But that
Mhm.
edifice, it will not be the strongest that it needs to be. So not looking at it to bring um, demise or just having this negative mindset, but it's what you said, like being aware and addressing what needs to be addressed so that we can build strong. So I would love to see that happen for you. And I love how this is going. So I can see so
I feel
much
like
more.
I feel like I need to take notes now too. You just described a beautiful awareness framework. Ask, answer, act.
Let me say.
That's how my brain thinks, like strategically. Like I can see a whole program unfolding from that. And it is about that self-awareness and that self-reflection.
So as you all just saw in real time, I will be somehow, because I already have asked one of the Cochrane sisters, working with Monica Marie Jones. So we're gonna have more more workshops coming for you because what you just said, I was like, ask, answer, act, yes. And then I have this idea for a healthy by design. It's not just random and it's not by default, right? So I yes, I love it. I had to pause on that one because yes.
Mhm.
So for viewers who may not understand the value of coaching, because some people like for some people, I had a friend who asked me, what's the difference between coaching and therapy? So I'm focusing specifically on coaching because that's what you do. What is the benefit? What would you tell people who are like, well, I'm not a leader, or I'm not someone who is over other people? Because I think that's what we get kind of pigeonholed in, to say like, well, my job wouldn't pay for this for me, or why would I need this? But what's the benefit of coaching?
Oh gosh, there are so many. And I would say the biggest one is like people life the term life coach is just getting so saturated. Like a lot of people are going through programs and classes and like, I'm a life coach.
Agreed.
And I think there's automatically a thought of, you're gonna tell me what to do, you're gonna fix my life. How is your life? Like, and that is not it at all.
Okay.
We are like facilitators of change. We are a guide on the side. It's like if you had a friend who was just always there to listen objectively without judgment, to ask you powerful questions and give you the opportunity to work through things and hear yourself out loud and not just like try to offer solutions or what they would do. So, and then we all have goals and aspirations, but a lot of times, you know, if no one's looking or if no one's pushing us, we just abandon them. The
Right.
nice thing about consistent work with a coach is we continue to hold you accountable, not in a way that is punitive or did you do this, but it's just we keep checking in, we keep asking questions, we keep helping you to adjust your plans. And just, I mean, just the fact, like when I've worked with a coach, and I'm supposed to be working on a thing that I said is important to me, just the fact that I know that call is tomorrow, I'm like, oh,
Yes,
I said I was going to do this. Let me do this right now. And it like
exactly.
forces me because I want to show up having done the work.
That's so
And
true.
I feel good about it. So that's what I would say. The powerful benefits are accountability, you know, judgment free support, and just this massive growth. And coaching works when you do the work. It's not us doing it for you. It's just us pulling out what is already in you and helping you to stay committed to what you want to create in your life. And so I've seen such big breakthroughs, huge accomplishments with my clients that I'm like, I knew it worked. I've studied it. It
Hmm.
worked for me, but I'm like, oh my gosh, this really does work. Like when I see things that happen in their lives, and each and every time I feel like it's happening to me, I'm so excited, so happy for them because I've seen their journey. I've seen
Yes.
not believe in themselves, say, but how would I ever get enough money? How would I, who's going to sign up? And then just seeing them flourish because
Wow.
they've done the work.
Wow. Wow. That is very powerful. And I hope that people hear what Monica said. It is something that is a great investment in yourself for the time, what being a facilitator of change, asking questions, having someone that's accountable and supportive. And I feel like in real time, we saw a snippet because one thing that you did, you listened to what I said and you said, hey, I saw a framework. I think in your coaching element, in your coaching and facilitation world, you just picked up to say, hey, I caught that. And you
Mhm.
put it back to me. And I was like, oh, in real time, you just saw her say, like, hey, I need to write that down because I see this. You said, ask, answer, act.
Yep.
And you see how it just brought something forward. So, just to what you said about your two shifts, your circle of influence. So, what if I'm around a person like Monica who's consistently, you know what, you've done it twice already. So, this is my second time officially meeting you now via Zoom.
Yeah.
But in our session, you spoke life into all of us. But my connection with you, you said, "Oh yes, let's go for it." I think the supportive structure that you have as a person that does come through too. I'm here now because you said yes, because you were willing, because you created a space. So I think I really want people to hear that um, it's not this highfalutin or bougie or out of reach type of thing. Even the workshops, I'm going to leave her information for the workshops and even for your retreat for anyone who may be in a position that maybe your employer may be able to pay for the retreat, or you may be able to pay for the retreat. Or again, stop at the workshops. Stop by the workshop. I did this, let me tell you, after work because it was on a Tuesday, 5:30. I was able to leave after work. it was just like you said earlier when we were talking. I had an oasis on a Tuesday evening. So when I went back to work, I told my colleagues, I was just like, that was a good thing to do on a Tuesday, in a beautiful place, in an environment that everybody there too. I feel like you had the group coaching feel where people were there because they wanted to be there. So how can people work with you, connect with you? Again, I'll put your information. What are ways that people can find you? How are ways people can find you?
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned the highfalutin and bougie piece, because one of the main objectives for us with the coaching at the Cochrane events was to make it accessible to the community. Because a lot of times when you do go to look for a coach, depending on where you are financially, you may say, whoa, that costs a lot. And if you're not familiar with how coaching works, you may not initially realize the huge return you're going to get on your investment. I mean, I love to use actual numbers. I've had clients who may have started out in a job where they made 40,000 a year and just not believing there was anything better, to starting businesses and making $250,000 a year. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it's like that investment in coaching that may feel like a lot for your budget. Look at where it got you.
The
Because
return. Yes.
you know what I
Yes.
mean? So the coaching at the Cochrane events are great if you're not familiar with coaching. Maybe you're, having some financial disciplines where you don't want to invest a lot in something right now, because those are only $30 and it includes food and camaraderie, fellowship, and then you get the coaching
Yes.
content as well. But for the one-on-one coaching, that's a little bit of a higher, and again, high expensive is relative. That's a little bit more of an investment,
More of an investment. That's what we're going to call it. It's a deeper investment. Yes.
because
I
one,
love it.
I noticed, gosh, everything is so intertwined. I noticed when I wasn't charging a lot, people weren't really taking it seriously.
Okay.
They were committing. It's like, oh, I can, waste
Mm-hmm.
a couple of dollars a month. And I also realized, as I was trying to model my own message and walk my own talk of building the life you love, I had to realize the value of my work and my experience and the investment
Yes.
I put into becoming someone, in this work. So
Mhm.
the investment, and I won't say the price now, you can go,
Yes, because yes, it's
it may
a higher level.
this in 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
But I've also noticed there has to be like a package, because I used to do one-off sessions, and
Okay.
some people they just glom onto it, they do the work, they make change.
Okay.
But for coaching to really work and make change, it has to be a commitment. So I would say at minimum 3 months. So I'd sell in packages, 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, or it can be 3 sessions, 6 sessions, 12 sessions, for those who want to work one-on-one for personal or executive coaching. And the process, you can kind of go on my website and just sign up, but I would
Okay.
say, hey, let's schedule what I call a chemistry call, 15 minutes to see if we're fit, because I'm not everybody's coach and everybody's not my client. You want to make sure you find a coach that fits what you want to work on.
Makes sense.
And then the other piece, so there's the coaching at the Cochrane, group coaching,
Mhm.
there the one-on-one coaching, and then the new thing that's been a vision that now is a reality this year is I
Okay.
love to do retreats, in particular international retreats. I had
Nice.
the opportunity to travel internationally when I was young, and that completely changed and shaped a beautiful trajectory for my life. So I want
Yes.
everyone to have that experience. So like this year, we're going to Morocco. In a couple years,
Beautiful.
I'm planning for Bali. So I'm just planning different places. But I have an international one set, and then I want to start doing like local ones, maybe in different
Mm.
states or things like that. So those are the ways to get involved. And if you're just like, you know what, Monica, I just need the free thing right now. I have a weekly newsletter that I call Mastery and Manifestation Monday. And
Okay.
there's always some little nuggets and activities in there. And as you know, I have a couple of free downloads, 8 practical
Yes.
strategies for challenging times, and then
Yes.
the Master Your Mindset and Connect with Your Soul 31-day journal prompt, either workbook, or you can get an email every day for 31 days. So those are, oh, and I forgot, I have a self-coaching program where
Okay.
it's video, like it's like the videos of all my modules, and you can just go and do it on your own pace. If you want to make a little bit of a lower investment, but still get the impact. So if you know you're self-guided, you're self-disciplined, you can go take advantage of those free or very nominal fee resources and still go through the same journey. Because that's what I did. Like initially, I was like, I don't really have any money. Let me read all these books and listen to all,
Yes. You started, you move forward. Yes, yes. You
right.
ask, you answer, you act.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
we go. That's what I did. I did Jasmine's framework.
You know what? That's beautiful, and I appreciate and I'm so grateful that you shared like the spectrum of what you offer because, like you said, I think some people, and I've done it. We've all done it where if we don't see what we can afford, we pull ourselves out of the picture. Where it's just like, what can I do? Asking that different question, like, okay, let me see what I can go to. Let me see what I can do. So please, I will have all of Monica's information in the description box because, again, if you're in the metro area, you definitely want to come to one of her events. She has self coaching, she has individual group coaching. So she has a lot that you can reach out for. And then she also has the free, let me see, the 8 coping strategies for, I have notes going on here.
Yeah.
I wanted to go over a few of those, but I'm not going to because I'm going to have you go through it. It's worth the investment of going to our website because this is literally a download. I actually haven't gotten a chance to get through. There was a pop-up that came up and there were courses. So that probably is your self paced. So I really want to get through that too because I have been posting on Wednesdays focused on finances and wealth because there's a lot that I have been shifting personally. And even in the journey burn, that was one of the things that I released in the journey burn. So I want to be authentic. And I love the word you said, financial integrity, be a part of one of my core values and how I live my life and everything. Because, it's like we kind of know something, but then it's just like the pull of how we've lived life is so strong. So like you said, if we don't get into another environment, and what the Cochrane House and your coaching helped me to see was just like, helped me to see was that there is something different. And I was able to enter a place and a space that was very much created and cultivated for growth and for healing and for transformation. So if I would have just said, I don't know what that's all about, I don't think I'm going to go, I would not be here with you today. And I am loving that you even have a vision to have this for men. I definitely am going to connect some people that I know that possibly would be a fit, and you can go from there. And everything else I'll share offline. But is there anything that you would like to share as a final way of encouragement or about coaching, or to the viewers who may still be, I don't think they would be on the fence, but maybe still on the fence in your coaching facilitator mode? Like, what would you say to people who still may be a little stuck, or then some people who have gotten unstuck and think like, oh, I'm good right now? What would you say to them? And leave us with some words only that you can do.
Goes back to that piece of my mission statement that you mentioned.
Mhm.
A little bit of my tagline is design a life you love. We've been so conditioned and domesticated and programmed to believe that everything is hard. We need to buy something. We need something else. Nothing is easy. And, of course, there are challenges and what I like to reframe as growth opportunities in our life. But with shifts in your thinking, with shifts in how you're spending your time and energy, you actually can design and live a life that you're happy with. Happiness is not always, or joy doesn't always have to be just outside your grasp, and so take the time for that self-awareness and self-reflection. Ask, answer, act, or get the support of a coach or a mentor. Or the other thing I really love that hasn't come up yet, I have a session on this and I live this,
Okay.
is having your mastermind group or your council or your personal board of directors. Like,
Yes.
3 to 5 people who you meet regularly, you hold each other accountable, you celebrate each other and share wins, and you support each other in working through challenges. So with some of those things in place as a regular part and practice of your life, you actually can, have a life that you are proud of, that you enjoy, and that you wake up every morning looking forward to digging into.
Yes, yes. I love that. I got so excited because I just read Hill Harper's The Wealth Cure, and it talks about the mastermind.
I'm
So
adding it to my reading list. Thank you, girl.
yes. And yes, the book is a phenomenal read. But you said one more thing too, like setting your intention. That is what the ebook talked about. But I went back to what I learned in the Journal Burn, because I have my piece of paper that I've been saying my intentions, my I ams. So I hope you all caught that. That is something so beautiful for you to invest in yourself. And I want to end with something, because what I think Monica has really helped me see, and hopefully that you've gotten this, is that you are worthy, you are enough, and you are loved. And I want you to start saying that, so you can say it in the I am worthy, I am loved, and I am enough. So when you think about things, it's like you are worth moving forward for yourself and your family in whatever area. Because I think sometimes, just like you said, we think it's something outside of us, but it begins with us. So thank you, Monica, for coming on today. I literally, at that end, I was like, okay, I don't know if I should cry, but tears were coming up when you said the mastermind and just being in this space with you today, I really felt that the connection of moving forward and to be able to get unstuck is possible. So again, this is Monica Marie Jones. Her information is going to be in the description box. Please join her at the Cochrane House if you can. Check her out, follow her on Instagram, look at her work. And men, get ready, because I really want to see something happen for the men, because you are important to us. You are special. You are loved. You are worthy. We appreciate you. So until next time, have a great day.